appears as though there is a charming association between Jamie Foxx and Wendy Williams, and the two of them have turned into the casualties of Diddy's brutality and discipline. It's anything but a mysterious that the music versatile can pound everybody he needs, and I mean in a real sense. And as Wendy Williams as of late expressed, she sees numerous similitudes between her own problem with Diddy and Jamie's occurrence with hospitalization. Yet what was terrible to such an extent that both Foxx and Williams addressed a colossal cost for their genuineness. We should dive into the subtleties. Greetings everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live channel. So incidentally, Jamie Foxx's new hospitalization is connected to the recently spilled video where the entertainer was uncovering Diddy's wild gatherings and surprisingly flaunted that he had a recording to show clearly. This hazardous disclosure was the main justification for why the Oscar-winning entertainer has been battling for his life now. And keeping in mind that the fans continued to keep thinking about whether Diddy and his team have a say in it, regardless, the sovereign of talk, Wendy Williams, ringed in and uncovered more subtleties in light of the fact that, in all honesty, she has once turned into Diddy's casualty herself. As you most likely are aware, Wendy Williams is definitely not an alien to expressing her genuine thoughts, and keeping in mind that many individuals think of her as talk being nothing else, except for bits of hearsay to stand out. It seems like one specific proclamation she had caused about situation Diddy brushes started the long-lasting hamburger between the music maker and the previous television have. And as per an accounts, Diddy was prepared to fight back with savagery against her anyway. Her life was saved, yet she lost her employment on the public broadcast in '98. And kid, it was sensational on the grounds that it was generally estimated that irritated seeing Diddy comes supposedly had an influence in her excusal. Yet what might have conceivably driven Diddy so mad that he coordinated the whole thing that got Breezy terminated? Well, it was accounted for that the ex-radio personality possessed an exceptionally hot photograph of two half-stripped stroking one another, and obviously one of them was Diddy. And assuming you're considering why should this matter at all, well, it seems like Diddy likes to support his standing as playboy and womanizer, and that proof was sorts harming to this picture. And keeping in mind that Wendy essentially lost her employment, said she never released this photograph, and keeps it as an influence against Diddy's rage and crimes, she feels that a similar explanation might have made Jamie Foxx disabled, particularly in the illumination of a few uncovering film, highlighting the entertainer discussing Diddy's wild gatherings and what the maker was doing during them. Well, Wendy was the trailblazer of Diddy's openness, and she was among the first celebs to at any point express anything against the strong maker. And in spite of the fact that her vocation took off after she left the radio and became chipping away at television, it seems like this little mystery tormented her relationship with Diddy, and she resented him for making her terminated due to one articulation. Later, numerous others blamed the scandalous maker for personal connections with men, and surprisingly, his own protector quality arrangement uncovered that his ex-manager was into going through evenings with male rappers and captivating toys. Well, by what it looks, Foxx is presently enduring similar fallouts of Diddy's retribution, on the grounds that the idea of his hospitalization stays undisclosed for right around a month now, and fundamentally everybody in the stage abstained from making any updates and uncovering the subtleties of his well-being alarm with the press. All we have for close to 30 days of James' constrainment in a medical clinic is that his PCPs are as yet accomplishing other things tests and need to be totally certain that he will be okay prior to permitting him to return home or even return to work. As per Wendy, James' ongoing well-being state is intently attached to Diddy's filthy mysteries, and the Oscar-winning entertainer has basically turned into one more survivor of the music tycoon's remorselessness. And each time when there's one more opportunities for reality with regards to Diddy's cozy inclinations to come out, another guiltless individual is dying hospitalized or pronounced crazy and dissimilar, to Wendy, who presumably gets her succulent data from her inside sources. Jameho's been going to large numbers of Diddy's gatherings, and he positively knows more than any other person. And I don't have any idea what sort of arrangement Diddy has with his visitors. Yet clearly Jamie disrupted the guidelines when he spilled a lot of subtleties. And as Wendy Williams accepts this was Day's method for rebuffing the entertainer for talking as Wendy referenced, she doesn't believe that the maker wanted to kill James just to send him a message. Yet the circumstance turned out to be grave to the point that contemplations must be earnestly taken to the emergency clinic and, surprisingly, be restored. And it seems like regardless of the best endeavors and qualified clinical group, there's tiny advancement. And his recuperation might take way longer than expected. Sources near the entertainer guarantee that his condition has not changed regardless of that obscure Instagram post the entertainer purportedly had made, as when he accepts this result was very unforeseen in any event. For Diddy himself, as he planned exclusively to frighten the entertainer and not really dispose of him, the previous television have reviews her own experience with Diddy's vengeance strategies when he purportedly sent a young lady bunch on his name to defy Williams after she had made ideas about his private existence. Gathered together my earphones to see everybody arranged on the window, peering down at the walkway. And when she got ground floor, she saw this young lady bunch leap out of a vagabond taxi to go after her. Yet it takes an excess of a gathering of young ladies to startle Wendy Williams. And as the previous television have admitted, he has become frantic, the maker, for such shameful moves, and even clutch hatred for Diddy, since she felt he attempted to destroy her profession later in her book. The Wendy Williams experience, she conceded the damnation he put me through. I will always remember, yet I don't detest him in the end. After nearly many years of loathing each other, Diddy and Wendy freely accommodated and called a truce during every one of the episodes of her syndicated program. And albeit the television have encountered different difficulties with her vocation and individual life, it seems like it didn't have anything to do with Diddy any longer, and their quarrel had been neglected, albeit a few fans actually accept that she could be designated by the business, yet was fortunate to survive the ordeal. As one individual worked someone previously took Wendy out, she's lost all validity according to others. I keep thinking about whether she was on the hit rundown, and this was all the harm that they expected to do with her. So she should be off. And another client added, I actually accept Wendy. She generally had the tax on the celebs in hip jump. And right, notwithstanding the incitements and even dangers, Wendy Williams has forever been overcame and topped just truth. And the way that she never apologized prompted for proposing that day lays down with men just demonstrates that she didn't feel like she was off base. And as Wendy says, the main shortcoming of Jamie Foxx was not being wary about what he was talking about and who he was expressing it to, while there are various individuals who uncovered Diddy practically day to day via virtual entertainment, you can't resist the urge to see one theme Diddy strikes just when a source is near his internal circle, like it has been with Kim Watchman and her never-tier distributed tell-all book, while numerous VIPs are just reluctant to remark on the ongoing circumstance and point at Diddy. Wendy Williams stays the voice of equity in the horrible Hollywood climate, and she is persuaded that Diddy attempted to send his companion Jamie a message and caution him not to open his mouth any longer anyway. It seems like the music magnate blew up this time and perhaps didn't consider that James was at that point under pressure, and his condition turned out to be more awful than Diddy had expected. For some individuals, including some elite superstars, it's peculiar that Diddy actually grips to the notions of the 90s. I can't transparently concede the way that he appreciates men's conversation in bed too clearly. He is excessively pleased to make this admission and really like to carry out his grimy things behind the shut entryways. And with respect to every individual who thinks for even a second to some way or another uncover his filthy insider facts Well, he has a dreadful shock arranged, like Edding Wendy Williams terminated, Kim Watchman killed, and Opshore winding up in unconsciousness. And it appears as though it's Jamie's chance to pay for the mysterious he sporadically spilled, honestly talking nobody. Even thinks often about Diddy's adoration life any longer and his sexuality concerns just himself, however. Every one of the eyes are currently on his crimes. And affirmed harming we've proactively seen from different past episodes that his savagery has no restrictions. And it seems like this time he went too far, and his activities brought about something way more serious than even he personally expected. As it was accounted for, Jamie Foxx is fortunate to be alive. And in the event that it wasn't to convenient therapy, the entertainer could join the rundown of Diddy's casualties that could never at any point talk again, as one insider asserted. James experienced a serious clinical episode and required quick consideration. It was sensitive for a really long time with him, and he must be resuscitated. He is extremely fortunate to be alive subsequent to associating every one of the spots. It turns out to be apparent to such an extent that there are numerous happenstances in the story days. And keeping in mind that, harking back to the 90s, Did he use to just compensation a pack to shoot individuals he could do without in the road. Now he is utilizing more intricate techniques for discipline. And some of the time individuals unexpectedly drop impasse up in trance, like state or behind the bars, in view of some proof they have against him. Many fans are certain that Jamie Foxx is one more survivor of the scandalous maker's mercilessness. And on the off chance that famous people fail to address this occurrence right now, a lot more lamentable occasions like this would follow, as one individual remarked Tupac was attempting to caution everybody when he was shot multiple times in near. He said Diddy was behind it. And someone else composed they need to close this evil framework down, assuming anybody give it a second thought or watch the game. It ought to be preferable over this children are watching this wreck. This music framework is too devilish. Well, not a solitary day presently passes without scrutinizing the poisonous environment in the Broadway, yet evidently it even